Deborah Anderson, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Local Flavor. Today, I'm here at Destination Kitchen in downtown Norton and with Cindy and Georgia, and we're going to be working on a series of episodes about holidays, about cooking for the holidays. And we wanted to do kind of a traditional Thanksgiving dinner, but what we found when we were arguing about what to make is that everyone has different traditions. So, like, what do you like to do?
We always go to my parents for Thanksgiving. My mom wants to do that, and so we still go there, and she cooks the turkey, and everyone brings the other sides.
Yeah, it's nice if you can get people to bring other stuff,
It
right?
is. It is.
How about you?
Traditionally, it has been at my home, and so I have juggled the turkey and the oven space, and but it's really a joy, and it's interesting what your kids and your nieces and nephews grow up with is actually your stuffing recipe, and so that becomes their tradition, and so they only like that kind because that's the only kind they've ever had. So it was interesting when my sister first made turkey and dressing, and they were like, it doesn't taste right. Oh, so anyway, some traditions you don't even know they're happening, and they are. So that's the great part.
Our family's sort of building new traditions. I always wondered why people liked Thanksgiving because my grandmother was so vigilant about keeping salmonella away from us that I really didn't enjoy the turkey at all. And so she was just very, very vigilant about that. So it was very dry, and I didn't understand why people liked it so much. And so now that we're moving on to a new generation, my cousins have started frying the turkey. Sounds disgusting, but it's so delicious. And we usually have like turkey and noodles instead of gravy. So weird things. Everyone has their own little weird way of doing things.
Yep, it does.
So for the series today, though, we're going to follow pretty much your family's tradition. Isn't that right?
That's correct.
And we want to start, it's pretty early. We're still several weeks ahead of the holiday, but you should start planning right away.
Absolutely. And one of the things is, to try and determine how many people are going to be coming to your home. And then you also want to determine what you're comfortable with someone else bringing and what you want to make yourself.
Right, definitely. So the menu we'll be doing is from your family, and we're going to have turkey and herb stuffing and crescent rolls. I got it all here. A sweet potato casserole and pumpkin pie and cranberry ice. So we'll look forward to doing each of those. There'll be individual episodes for those so you can pick out the ones you need help with. But if we're doing it all yourself, you want to try and do as much as you can ahead of time because you only have one oven or possibly two, so you've got to plan, how am I going to get all this done? So let's talk a little bit about that. And you have a resource that's helped you a little bit, haven't you?
Yeah. It's how to cook a turkey, but it's one of those things that you shouldn't judge the book by its cover because it has lots of wonderful recipes besides how to cook a turkey. So it's just like any other good cookbook. It has great pictures and just things that you would enjoy making. They make it simple. A lot of them are to make ahead. They have a lovely chocolate souffle which you put in the freezer and then bring out to bake. So it's a great resource.
I love the beginning too, where it tells you how to survive it, and there's some common problems that people have and some quick fixes for what to do when these terrible things happen to you. Another great resource is Butterball. They have the turkey hotline, which is 1-800-BUTTERBALL, and it's staffed by real home economists who can help you with your questions about how to do your Thanksgiving meal. They also have an excellent little checklist of what to do before to get ready, and they start even 2 to 3 weeks before, just making your guest list and planning the menu, thinking of what other people can bring. So based upon this series of recipes, what I went ahead and did is I wanted to make sure I had everything in my pantry that I'm going to need, and I wanted to make a shopping list to make sure all the fresh ingredients. So I just went through the recipe cards and I wrote down everything that was needed in them. If it's something I probably have in my pantry, I put it over in the pantry area. Can you see? And then I have a column for fresh, and I even put a column for some kitchenware, so I make sure that I have the food mill or the pastry blender that the recipe calls for, and I know where it is because it has happened where I've lost my dough hook, and it was inside my salad spinner. But how did this happen? I don't know. But it's good to find it before instead of that day. Another
tip along that line, Deborah, is that you have to think about serving your meal also. And so I've gone so far as to take sticky notes and take the bowl and write the gravy on and put the sticky note in the bowl. You have so many helpers the day of Thanksgiving, and they're like going, you know, what do you want the turkey on? What do you want the gravy in? And so if you have that all sitting out with it labeled, then they know and they can go get the right dish. Otherwise, it's like all of a sudden the dishes are all gone and you still have some items left, and you're searching around to find a bowl to put the potatoes in or something like that. So
yeah, or you're having to think, what do I want it in, instead of just doing the work. It takes a lot of attention to finish up some of that stuff.
Right. Take the stress out at the last minute, however you can.
So I noticed in these recipes that like several of them use the same ingredients, so I just made a note to the side to make sure that I bought enough. Like the first recipe took 2 sticks of butter, then the next one 2/3 of a cup, and then after I wrote them all down, I estimated how much I'd need. I tend to always get 1 extra 2 because I'm pretty clumsy in the kitchen, so
some things can happen, right?
Right. You always might need more. So let's talk about when we're going to cook each of these items, because we don't want to wait for the last day on all of them. No. So let's talk, which of these can be made ahead of time and which ones have to be made Thanksgiving Day?
Actually, everything but putting the turkey in the oven and can be made the day ahead. So everything can be done the day ahead.
Some of it we talked about maybe could do the weekend
a week
before.
Or 2 weeks, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. The cranberry ice is one of the ones that, you know, it goes in the freezer. So, you know, that can be done whenever you feel like you have the time, a week before, week and a half. The weekend before, you know, Thanksgiving is a nice time, but then you can also string it out during the week. Come home from work and know that, you know, after you get your dinner over with, you're going to make that cranberry ice that night, or, you know, so have to adapt it to your own schedule too.
Yeah, some of them have to be planned ahead of time too, because you'll have to, like for the crescent rolls, that has to be, the dough has to be in the fridge overnight. So somebody mentioned you could freeze the crescent rolls after they're baked.
Right.
Yes,
so those could be made pretty early. How long could they stay in the freezer?
Oh, you know, bread, it's like you don't want it in there too long, but I'd say, you know, you could do it 2 weeks ahead of time and still be good.
Okay.
And I think we talked about before that this crescent roll recipe can be made into cinnamon rolls. It's the same basic dough, and so you could maybe use half of it for making your crescent rolls, and then you could make cinnamon rolls ahead of time and put them in the freezer, and then just ice them the morning of Thanksgiving, and you'd have a breakfast goodie all ready to go.
Oh yeah, because it's a big day. You need to start with a good breakfast.
Right.
That's awesome. So I think that what we have planned to do then is 1 week prior, we want to take advantage of National Thaw Day and get our turkey purchased and started thawing about a week prior to Thanksgiving. We'll go shopping for what we don't have on hand. We're gonna, on the weekend, we're gonna make and freeze the pie crust and also the bread and the cranberry ice. And then the evening before, we have to brine the turkey, and we're gonna prepare our sweet potato casserole and the stuffing and bake our pies.
Yes.
That way, that morning, all we have to do is thaw out and warm up the bread and stuff the turkey, cook the turkey and the stuffing, and then we'll cook the potatoes while the turkey's resting. Am I forgetting anything?
You're making it sound way too easy, right?
Or hard.
Oh, and you know, some of it is in the night that you feel like you have the biggest load or whatever. Look at, it's like the pie crusts are coming out of the freezer. You know that they need to thaw, so get those out on the counter, and then while you're doing something else, knowing, you know, that in an hour you're going to roll the pie crust out and get your...
Yeah, I think anything that you can visualize yourself doing and write down a time of when you'll do it would really help. So,
and the other thing before you go to bed the night before is to look at the poundage on your turkey and determine what time you need to put it in.
right.
And so that's one of those target times of when you get up Thursday morning.
It's probably going to, you're going to have to count on at least 4 hours, and it can go up to, I think it was 8, isn't it?
Yeah, it really depends on the size of the turkey.
Size of the turkey and how quickly it cooks. You're going to go by temperature instead of time, pretty much.
Right.
You just need to allow
Right.
enough. But that's right. Well, I think we're ready. I think we should go ahead and get started cooking.
I think so too. Let's have fun.
Okay. All right. So hopefully you'll join us for some of the episodes where we go through each of our menu items. Thanks for joining us for Local Flavor.